baby. We gotta win this one.
Out the jump, let's go. Let's go, man, let's go. Here we go.
It's about to be a lit day today.
Hey, let's get back to our swagger, come on.
All of them get the dough down. They get the dough down.
Okay, meet at the quarterback. Welcome to the final regular season edition of the Audible, courtesy of 3M. My name is Gabe Henderson. As always, Tatum Everett is beside me from Vikings.com. And I would like to say, Tatum, we are people of our words. Back in week 3, we had Dalvin Tomlinson and Harrison Phillips on, and they called us out because they were like, why haven't y'all never had us on the Audible before? Yeah. We were like, we're going to have you guys back. We got them back today. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you.
Final week of the season. Better late than never, right?
Yeah, right.
Better late than never. I ain't gonna hold it against you though, but
No. Well, actually, I have a task for you though, because last time in week 3 when we talked to you guys, you told me if we had you guys back, you would have a wrestling duo nickname ready to go for the people.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know. I'll give you all show to kind of think about it.
Go ahead and share what we came up with, buddy.
You did?
Oh, you actually did?
Oh, yeah, we have it.
Okay.
Oh.
You gonna pick that up?
Put them on the spot. I mean,
He's like, we did?
Y'all liked the gauntlet before you left, but you can't use that.
No, I had, he just had a sack last week. I handed him the gauntlet. He stopped the celebration. I was yelling at him. He stopped, came over, let me put the gauntlet on. Yes.
Love it. It's just hard to see from the top of the stadium for me personally.
Well, I can imagine.
Didn't have binoculars.
You got about 20 minutes to figure out what the nickname is going to be for your WWE team. But before we, get to, because this show, we like to have fun with this show. But before we get to that, Harrison, what you did this week, providing food for the nurses, for the family, just such a honor. But for you, why did you do that? And what's the vibe like in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think everyone kind of had that eerie feeling all Monday night, and I texted a lot of the guys to figure out what was going on. And Tuesday when I had woke up, I just, felt compelled to want to do something. It's kind of in my nature, and I know that a lot of the children in my foundation, Harrison's Playmakers, were also reaching out to me saying, like, how can we help? What can we do? I wanted to be an example, to them as well. And so I just started calling the hospital, trying to find a contact who could let me know how to get meals there any way. And after a couple hours, I was able to go through another, one of the contacts I had in Buffalo, and found a place that was close by that the nurses and doctors all like out there, and just ordered a bunch of stuff for all the doctors, nurses, family, and stuff that were there. And then did it again for last night as well. I just didn't know, I didn't really have any intention of that really getting leaked kind of publicly until I was, they asked, what did you do? But I mean, DT can probably speak a little bit on the vibes of the locker room, and really probably across the whole NFL.
Yeah, there's just big concerns, we're like a big family in the NFL. Like, we all play against each other on Sundays, but we all care for each other. You never want to see somebody get hurt on the field, and especially the way he went down. Everybody was shocked and just, you could say scared. Like, we just didn't know what was going on and never see anything like that. But, the locker room stands behind them and everything. And that we felt like they handled it pretty well out there. And we just keep praying and just keep being positive.
Yeah, as we record this right now, Buffalo released a statement that said he's making remarkable progress.
Yeah.
That he's holding the hands of his loved ones, that he has remarkable improvement in the past 24 hours, appears to be neurologically intact, which is great news, obviously, to see some progress. Knowing that we're getting these updates coming in throughout the week, how have you been able to handle getting ready to play in a game while knowing this is weighing heavily on your mind?
Very difficult, and again, because obviously be where your feet are, but a lot of me is back home with my, back in Buffalo, where I had 4 years with those guys and are brothers to me, and understanding what they're going through and what they had to see firsthand and live through, just trying to continue to check in on them, monitor the situation as closely as I can, which again has been more optimistic as of late, which is fantastic, and I can't go without saying, from everyone that I've heard who are at the situation or reflected on it and saw how things played out, the Buffalo Bills training staff and the doctors and nurses or doctors and paramedics on staff did the absolute perfect thing that you could do, executed to the highest level that you could, and all goes well and these prayers are answered, ended up saving DeMar's life. So kudos to all those guys and Denny for sure, who was the one doing CPR, and Joe and Nate, all those guys, their whole staff, saved this man.
Man, the fact that you just talked about, your foundation, helping DeMar's foundation. I mean, everyone just pouring into DeMar Hamlin's foundation. How did Harrison Playmakers come up with the idea of wanting to give back?
Yeah, well, I saw the fund that he put out, and I donated to it. And once I had, bought some of these meals and stuff, I had my send out an email to some of our playmaker families who were asking what to do. We have a little email list, and I just said, hey, for those of you who are wanting to know how to help, we have been supplied a few meals for him, but we want to do something big when he makes a full recovery and honor him back in Buffalo, Western New York. And some people were looking for another outlet to give to know what's exactly going on. And so they started a little pool there that will hopefully, after amazing recovery, can throw a hell of a celebration, a life party in a couple months.
Nice.
The conversations that you guys have now, reflective on what happened on Monday, what have they been like in the locker room?
It's just the biggest thing has been concern, like what's going on, just want updates and just to make sure that DeMar's healthy. That's the biggest thing, make sure he just keep getting more and more positive and just, like he said, it's tough to be where your feet are also. We have a game to prepare for, but, you also worry about his health. And, you just want the most positive outcome possible. And, you just have that on your mind the whole time. And like Harrison does a great job, informing us in the defensive line room what's going on and things like that. And it's always good, just to see that we're all still a family at the end of the day.
And you can see that just from teams, lighting their stadiums either blue or red, or everyone, I guess every NFL team changing their social media handle to pray for DeMar. And the love and the outpouring effort is going to continue even after he gets out of the hospital and jokes around and calls you back, Harrison, man, appreciate it. But it's always good to see that brotherhood and people coming together for a great cause. And hopefully, DeMar Hamlin's family is, finding ways to, get better with the situation and so on and so forth. But our prayers continue to go to DeMar Hamlin and his family and all of his loved ones in this situation. There's really no great transition from that. Yeah. But as we continue to move this show forward, I know the last time you guys were here, we always started this show off with an icebreaker called Two Truths and a Lie. Mm-hmm. Since you guys, this is your second time on the show, we gotta change it up a little bit. We're 12-4 right now, and we got a playoff game upcoming. But before we talk football, I want to get to this game called Would You Rather. Uh-oh. So I'm gonna throw the question out. Tatum and I will alternate questions. We'll throw the question out, and you guys, you figure out which one would you rather do. All right. All right. First one. Would you rather travel back in time to play with the Purple People Eaters? Or fast forward to play with your future kids in the NFL?
That's tough.
I got to go Purple People Eater.
That's what I'm thinking.
I got to.
Because I also don't know how the game's going to evolve by the time that we have kids that are playing.
Probably won't be able to hit quarterbacks
anymore. You might have to touch them or no shoulder. I mean, it might be flag football, so I would go back then too. And I think if Dalvin went back, he'd probably be the biggest player that was in the league by far.
Hey, chill.
No, yeah, I'm
Love it. All right, next one. Have a pause or a rewind button in life?
Rewind for me.
Definitely rewind.
Why?
I just feel like just over the years, all the stuff I've been through has been amazing. It's been blessings. And just to relive some of those blessings would be crazy. Like my first time winning the state championship in wrestling, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I would say like the saying, you don't know you're in the good old days till you leave them.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe to go back and smell the roses a little bit more in some of the other times in my life.
Which make those moments much as good as they are, which I thought you guys would say pause because of that. Because, winning the state championship, you wish you could just pause that moment and just be like, but I get what you're saying.
Maybe if it starts now, though, right?
That's
like
true.
if it started now, you'd want to go back. But maybe pause if you had it from the beginning of life.
But if I could rewind back, I'd probably tell myself a lot of stocks to pick. You know what I'm saying?
How you doing right now?
Not as bad as what the
market.
Yeah, the market shows.
It's trending upward. Trending upward. All right, question number 3. I feel like this might be a good one. Would you rather get a fumble recovery for a touchdown or get a pick 6?
I gotta go pick 6. Man. Come on. You get a fumble recovery, you get it. That's more likely to happen.
Yeah,
That a big guy getting a pick in the middle right there.
What if it was
taking it back.
what if it's a pick 6 from the 5 or a fumble recovery from the 50?
That wasn't the question.
I'm throwing it up. I would take a pick 6.
Pick 6 from the 5?
No, I'm just saying in general. If I'm gonna go 50 for the recovery, I'm going 50. But there have to be a lot of good blockers because I'm slow.
If you get a fumble recovery compared to a pick 6, your Madden rating gonna go up more with the pick 6.
Yeah.
Your catching is going to
You
boost
feel
by
me?
like 6.
Yeah, and I don't have an interception. I have fumble recoveries. in
Yeah,
my
I don't have
career.
an interception
Yeah.
either. You got a lot of batted balls and sore hands from it, but
How bad does that hurt?
depends how cold it is.
Okay.
It's probably gonna hurt this week.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
last year against Chicago when I blocked the field goal, my thumb and I was excited on the field, but when I got to the sideline, I was like, I can't feel my hand.
Oh no.
But you really can't practice like pass deflections though, right? Because like when you're going against the look team or the scout team, you have to let the quarterback get the ball off. So like, how do
we get it done in individual?
Okay.
Almost every week during the takeaway circuit, we'll work with a man in front of us and try to high point the ball, and sometimes try to catch it and tip it to yourself. But we work it.
Okay.
All right, we'll do one more before we got to take a break. I got to go with this last one, Gabe. It's too good. Would you rather eat whatever you want and not have to worry about your weight,
That one.
or
That
be a
sounds about right.
That one.
WWE tag team with each other?
No disrespect, DT, but I love food.
Yeah, I ain't
dog.
gonna lie to you. You're
I would
gonna have to go with the food
I love
option.
food, man.
Yeah, we got like a whole list of restaurants we're going to after that too.
Oh, like already, like list right now?
No, I'm just saying like,
Oh, okay. If that were
if
the
we
case.
don't gain any weight from eating, it's over with.
What would be the first place you'd go to?
Just
Anywhere?
Number one on the list.
Number
Martha's
one,
cookies.
The Sweet Martha's
Yeah,
cookies?
Sweet Martha's cookies. What I'm
see,
doing.
I would have to go to Ippudo. It's like a Japanese ramen spot.
Oh, okay.
I love ramen.
Man, we need to start. We got this empty table in front of us. We need to start putting food on the table.
Only
like,
if Remy approves. I don't want to get you guys in trouble.
No, but I'm just saying, look at all the amazing things we've done in the world. We have electric cars, we got people on the moon, we got modern medicine, but we can't make cookies be good for you. Like, come on, man.
They don't taste
What do
the
we
It's
same.
something that's good for you. It just don't taste,
I'm saying like
yeah.
I want ice cream, chocolate, and cookies to be like a salad.
Man.
Oh,
Invent
that would
that.
be great.
I wish.
What you don't eat the salad. Like I feel like when people make salads, you don't eat the lettuce. You just get it for like the
I
stuff
eat
that
the
you put on it.
lettuce.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I'm a spinach salad.
Okay.
Like the crunch.
Yeah, I eat the lettuce.
Man. I guess I put more milk in my cereal too. So maybe.
I'm not.
You put more milk, then you just add some more cereal when you're done with the first bowl. You feel me?
Until the milk goes out.
Yeah.
But the timer's run out on the first segment of the show, but you guys will be back for the second segment. Looking forward to talking to Dalvin Tomlinson and Harrison Phillips. So don't change the tune or the dial. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back to the Audible presented by 3M. I'm Gabe Henderson. That's Tatum Everett. Dalvin Tomlinson and Harrison Phillips are still with us. And fellas, we all know we have the Chicago Bears this week, and that's the number one important thing on everybody's mind. I can't lie to you though, I'm starting to think about the playoffs and getting another home game. For you guys, when you knew that you clinched the playoffs, what did that mean to you?
It meant everything for me because it's my first playoffs in my career to actually go to. But I feel like the biggest thing is, we clinched the playoffs, but we have a lot more work to do before we get to the playoffs. And especially like this week, like you said, you looking forward to the playoffs, but we still got one more game, and you want to finish strong, and you just don't want to just go out there and like not play your best. You want to like pretty much prime yourself for the playoffs type thing. So you want to be on your A game going into the playoffs, so you don't have to start slow type thing.
And this is not your first time
Right.
being in the playoffs. Have you guys talked about what to expect and what you need to be ready for?
Yeah, not quite. I think I'll have that conversation with some of the guys next week. But for me, clinching the playoffs is so special for the fan base. It really means a lot, and that we earned the right to play at home. Even another great opportunity for these fans who've had to wait 5 or 6 seasons now till we won the division. And so that's always a thing. And then to Kwesi and KO in their first year, and the coaching staff, what they've been able to accomplish, it's huge. But I think once we clinched and we still had however many weeks left, it's, the top of the mountain is the bottom of the next. You got to keep climbing. And so I think that's the momentum that we've carried on here, and to make it to the playoffs is cool. To win a playoff game is awesome. To win multiple playoff games is even better, right? And you just keep, no complacency.
And that's the one thing I love about the playoffs is it's a 1 week game, a 1 week job. So like every week matters that much more. From your experience, what changes about the intensity for a playoff game versus like a big regular season game?
No, it definitely is more amped up. Even if you're prime time Monday night versus division opponent, playoffs is different football, and anyone who's played in those games will tell you are either moving on, getting another check, getting closer to your dream of winning the Super Bowl, or you're packing your bags and you're going home. And you see that every snap. Versus if you watch those games, they get real competitive on third down, or the fourth quarters are crazy. I mean, it's from the jump, every play. And so probably the most sore I've ever been has been after playoff games, the most banged up. But that's what the competitive nature of us is, and we're all trying to accomplish that one goal we've dreamed of since our first dreams.
Well, and DT, I mean, you've played for Alabama. You understand what the postseason means in a different sense.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's not the NFL, but Alabama's the closest you can get to it, I feel like. Just prepping for like the SECs and the playoffs games and stuff like that it was a grind. It was brutal, just because the intensity of the level we play at, and we're expected to play at week in and week out down there in Tuscaloosa. It was tough, but we got through it, and it made us better for it.
For sure.
All right, one question I wanted to ask you guys last time, and I'll ask you now. Every play, you always hear football players saying there's a holding on every single play. Offensive lineman is holding every single play. One thing I've noticed, though, is that the NFL and the officials have been starting to call defensive holdings on defensive linemen. Like, I see you guys laughing. Like, I guess my question is, like, how do you decipher between the two? Like, does it help? Does it hurt? Like, what does it mean when you get called for a defensive holding?
Yeah, it hurts for sure. It hurts a lot.
I got one this year.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Yeah, I remember that one. But like, it's. I see what they're trying to say, but it's also like.
I feel like more not in offensive situations. It's pretty blatant, and like, I don't want to say the word malicious, but with intent. Like, he's about to beat me, I'm pulling him. Defensively, it's like, I've got 700 pounds coming at me. I'm trying to find a ball carrier. A tight end's going this way. Like, I'm just hanging on and happen to hang on a little too long or something. And so, I don't know.
Head scratch.
I mean, it seems like it's really difficult to be just so aware of it, too.
Well, yeah, and that's what you'll see oftentimes, and I respect the refs that allow it to happen. When you're pass rushing, you might put a stab in and it gets a little high, and you touch a helmet or a face mask and pull it back quick. Sometimes refs will allow that to happen versus if you keep it up there and touch the face. So in the same way, I think there was a game that I was warned for like a hold, like, hey, be careful, I saw his shoulders turn type of thing. And we appreciate them working with us because they know it's not with malicious intent.
Yeah. The biggest times, the only time they really call it is like when someone's trying to run away from you. You're like pulling them back and keeping them from like climbing up to the next level or something like that. Then they're gonna call it. Yeah.
You guys have been pretty good when it comes to staying not penalized. I mean, what do you think what do you think the reason behind that is?
The biggest thing is discipline. We drill it in practice. We're going against the offense, a lot of hard counts, so we won't jump off sides all the time and stuff like that. And just technique. If you working on your technique week in and week out, it keeps you from being in a position where you get penalties and stuff like that.
And I feel like the fact that those mental errors have been at a low this year has probably one of the main reasons why our wins have been at a high. 12 wins this year for you guys. I asked Tatum this earlier on our podcast. Like, I describe it as historic. But for you, this season, what adjective would you use to describe this 2022 season?
Definitely memorable.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get the historic one. I mean, there's other teams that have 12, 13 wins. I think I've been a part of a 13-win season. But the games how we got there will definitely be memorable for me. Yeah. Thinking back to the comeback, thinking back to in Buffalo, the Detroit round 1. I mean, I think there's some very memorable that when I'm 55, 60, whatever, telling kids and grandkids, I'll reflect back to those games.
Yeah, how about to go with the exciting?
Okay.
That's what I picked.
That's exciting. It's like all the close games, it's like what it came down to. It was just like with Greg kicking a 61-yard field goal against New York. You know, I really wanted that game. And like comeback in Buffalo, I know that meant a lot to you. And I'm just like this, what we have to fight for. And it's amazing that we have such a gritty team that doesn't give up no matter what. And we just keep fighting until there's no time left.
I see what you did there. Gritty team, okay.
No, I said exciting too. I think as simple of a word that is, I think it perfectly describes whether you're in the game, whether you're around the locker room, whether this ride that they've been on. And I would take it a step further and say what Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah are building here, and seeing this first year and seeing where it could go and what their vision is has been exciting. Would you echo that sentiment?
Yeah,
because you kind of were part of it, you know.
Yeah, but you know that's the thing is, and when you asked about the playoffs, you know, in my experience beforehand, another thing that I'll mention to the guys is, as unfortunate as it is, this team's not going to be the same next year.
Yeah.
And so we're on the brink of hopefully not, but only 2 games left promise. Hopefully that's 5. Yeah. But still, only 5 more games that this team's going to look the exact same. You know, there's free agents on the team. There's maybe players reaching retirement. There's cuts. There's so many things that happen, and so there's no promises that this team. I mean, look at the Super Bowl winners last year. I don't think they're in the playoffs this year, and so you have to. You know, you don't always get this again. The car kind of runs too fast. So it's very exciting for what they're building, and I think if you try to win a Super Bowl 5 years in a row, you have a better chance to win one of them than if you say we're going to do everything to win one this year. And I think that's an approach that they're taking as well. As we want to build something that hopefully the NFC and the North runs through our place for years to come.
Yeah, well, we got another division rival this weekend in the Chicago Bears, and then we can start building those wins. Well, we got to build it this week, but we can start building those wins in the playoffs to get to that ultimate goal of 5 more games. It was a pleasure as always, guys. Thank you for joining us for the second time. We hold our word. We were people of our word, so appreciate you guys coming back. But for Dalvin Tomlinson, Harrison Phillips, Tatum, Everett, my name is Gabe Henderson. Thank you guys again for tuning into another edition of The Audible presented by 3M. We'll see you next week.